Hi, I'm Jude Matulich-Hall, the host of Titles, Talk, and Tipples. We're going to be changing some things up for the show in the next several weeks. So for a little bit, we're going to be showing you some reruns. But these reruns aren't just going to be the same old show that you've been seeing. In the past, I've edited heavily these episodes, and so what I'm going to do is, instead of giving you the same rerun, I'm going to go ahead and give you the full talk that I had with the author. So you will be getting some new stuff while revisiting some old. In the process, in the background, what you're not going to be seeing is all the great revamping we're going to be doing with Titles, Talk, and Tipples. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. You're going to really enjoy what we're doing, and hope to see you around. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe.
We were talking about Game of Thrones too. Like the end of Game of Thrones was just like, are you kidding?
Yeah,
come on.
I actually read
terrible.
So when I in the middle of writing my first novel, I did not tell anybody that I was writing a novel. It was one of those things like, I'm not going to tell anybody until I know that I'm like solid, because I didn't want to be a person that was like, I'm writing a novel, and then it never happens. so I told
I know, right?
My husband knew, my son knew. I had told a couple of friends that I was writing a novel, but even my friends, I like waited, because it took me 4 years to write my first novel, and I think your first novel took a while.
And it did, yeah. I started writing it years ago, and then put it away, and then brought it back out. And I think it was a long process for the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. And so I think I was maybe 3/4 of the way through before I started telling other people that I was writing a novel. And because I knew I could see the ending, right? It's like, I'm actually gonna finish this. And so what was my point? And so, I really lost my point. I'm going to have to edit this because
It's okay. I'm just enjoying listening to you talk about it. I mean, I think, you don't want to give it away, right? Because, there's that sense of if too many people know about it, then you can't pivot.
Yeah.
when you have to.
I'm going to have to think about this for a second, because I had a point. What were we talking about right before?
We're talking about like really good endings of Breaking Bad and devolving and evolving.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Yeah, this will definitely be edited.
That's okay. I've been rambling a bit too, so I don't know. You can edit me any way you want. And I don't know the spoilers. By the way, Game of Thrones ends like this. No.
Oh, that's what it was. Game of Thrones. Oh, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
That was great. Yeah. So I had a friend that when I finally started telling people that I was writing a novel, he was actually a pianist. We had a duo for a while. He's moved away since. But so I'm a violinist and he was a pianist.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool.
And so we also worked at a gym together. So we were both weightlift coaches. And when I told him I was writing a novel, he looked at me and he said, whatever you do, don't end it the way Game of Thrones ended.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So don't do it. I personally haven't watched Game of Thrones or read it, but
yes.
I think I tried one.
I mean, the trouble is too, poor George Martin, he didn't even write the ending. Like it was just like literally somebody else writing what he had done all of this time. And, I don't know how he felt about it. Like if it had been me, I would have been like, what did you do to my books?
Yeah.
I would have been so mad, but who knows how he felt.
I wonder, isn't that a scary thing? Like handing
Yeah.
your work over. So like for me, my first novel took me 4 years to write, a 5th year to publish. And so like to put so much time and passion and love into something, to have it, to sign away your rights on it so someone can make a show. Oh yeah. I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read anything about how he felt about it, but I would have to think like when you know how he wrote those characters, to see the way that they ended up, I don't know if that would have been his intention. But I mean, he really abdicated any ownership over it by signing it over to HBO, right? So they kind of had carte blanche to do what they wanted with it, and they did. And that's more's the pity, because honestly, I could have written a better ending.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Nobel Prize winner by any stretch, but I could have written a better ending than they did. I think most people could have written a better ending to Game of Thrones, and it's a shame, right? Like when you think, but
yeah, I think when it comes to television, it's just such a different, it really is different than storytelling. They're still telling a story, but
yeah,
when it comes to writing, it's such a different kind of writing. I have not written television yet, but
I know.
Just imagine that with television, they're looking for to continue going, right? They're looking for the dollar.
Exactly. I have a really good blogger friend, and then actually, and he like is a beta reader for me too sometimes, named Sean P. Carlin, and he has a blog. He's a Los Angeles screenwriter. And so if you get a chance, read some of his essays on post narrative structure, because that's what he is. Yeah, Sean P. Carlin.
Okay.
And he does a lot of writing about post narrative structure in film and television. And it's really interesting stuff. And it's exactly what you're talking about now, that whole idea of the arc and the storylines that split off everywhere. And yeah, it's really good stuff. But that's exactly what it is. These shows now, that it's a very different kind of narrative structure than you're used to with that, a show that has a one plot, maybe a slight subplot, but it's always one plot to the end, very Shakespearean, right? You've got your one plot, one subplot going all the way back to Aristotelian drama. And now suddenly there's this post-narrative structure where you've got like multiple arcs, multiple stories, all diverging. It's really interesting. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I'm just going to write novels.
I know, right? I have no interest in writing multi-arc.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well,
yeah.
Like with if I start getting multi-arcs, it's like, oh, there's another novel. Like put that aside.
Yeah.
Take it out, put it aside. Write it later.
Exactly. So this is why I write first person, because there's only one perspective and I only have to write one book.
That's great.
Although I am working on the sequel. I put up the Seventh Devil behind me. Like, can you see?
You don't have to move, because the eyes are.
Yeah, I'm kind of like right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Super cool. I love that.
I do love this cover. I love this cover. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the yellow, the black, and the red are just.
Yeah. In the book, the character, the Seventh Devil, has like these flashing yellow eyes, and the font. I love the way that it goes. So I'm really happy with the cover too. But so there you go. But so I'm writing the sequel to this one right now. But nice. It's still from the same perspective of the same character. I'm not doing a multi-character arc. No, thank you. Maybe one day, maybe I'll do like a spin-off. But that's what it used to be though. Like, post-narrative now is like these multi-character arcs, whereas like a long time ago, television used to have a show and then there'd be a spin-off.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. And now it's like it's just spinning everywhere, and there's nothing just central anymore.
It's our society. Now.
Yeah, I know, right? It is so much like everything has to happen in the moment, right now. Give it to me now.
Oh, but it isn't in the moment, right? It's
exactly
beyond the moment, because we're not quite sure how to sit in the moment. So,
yeah.
But I will.
Yeah. Although we can access it in the moment. Now you can binge watch. That's what really, Why should I have to wait a week for the next episode?
Oh
I want to
my
binge
gosh.
watch it.
Yeah. Commercials? What are those?
I know, right? Fast forward.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I know. That's why I'm happy people are still reading books. It's nice because there's nowhere you can go. You're in the book. You can't go to commercial.
Yeah.
You can't go like to another art. You are where you are and just keep reading.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go make yourself a cup of tea or
Yep.
pour yourself a glass of wine. That's your commercial.
Oh yeah, the glass of wine. There you go. That is your commercial break.
You're
Pour
walking
another
through
glass of
your
wine.
kitchen with the book in your hand, trying to make tea at the same time.
I know. I still remember when I was younger reading in the bathtub and like how many times did I drop a book in the water?
Yeah. Now it's your phone or electronic thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I just threw a couple $100 down the drain.
Yeah, just my phone fell in the bath. Get the rice.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's great. So let's kind of turn the tables a little
Sure.
bit. Beyond writing, I hear that you used to be a DJ.
Oh my gosh, yes. In the 80s, yeah. In the 80s, I started off working at the university, like one of the university radio stations, and I had a classical music show actually.
Oh yeah, I'm
The best, yeah, classical music, and I remember running a contest once, and my mom was the only person who called in, but I would sub in for a friend of mine. A friend of mine had more of an alternative music show, and I'd sub in for her, and I really enjoyed it. So I signed on with, his name was Dr. Music. It was like a music service. Mm-hmm. And so I started DJing, and I had a club gig for a while at a club in Waterloo called Shooters. And so I did that for a little while, and I did some club work at a couple of other clubs, but I did that for a while. And I'll tell you, that is the most stressful job I've ever had in my life.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Being a DJ. Yeah. In a live DJ in a club. And the worst part was, in the one club I had turntables and vinyl.
Did you do the vinyl?
But in the other club with the other music service, it was cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is to try and what?
I was gonna say, for you youngins, a cassette tape.
Yeah, that's right. Because a cassette tape was something. Yeah, I know, right?
About you.
You had this big and two reels, and in order to, so I was
physical tape.
Terrible. So I'd be in the DJ booth with my double deck. And you have to because turntables, you can start, one record's going, you can start another record playing, and you can kind of use the edge of your thumb to slow it down, or you can speed it up a little bit to match the beat and everything, right? So that they merge together and one song ends and the other song is great. Yeah, it's great and it's fun. But cassette tapes are a little bit different. So I used to have to sit at home and cue everything up at home, get to the club, and then you start one deck going, and then you have to use your finger and get in the reel and try to slow the reel down a little bit to match the beat. Oh my God, it was so brutal. It was just and I couldn't hear anything because back then the headphones were shite, right? Now you got I have noise canceling headphones right now. So I'd have the booming coming in, the booth would be slamming. People would be coming up and asking for, of course, and everybody wanted to hear Paradise by the Dashboard Light. It's like, can you play Paradise by the Dashboard Light? No, I'm not going to play that. Go away. This is a dance club. But I do remember that, back then it was Milli Vanilli, Girl, You Know It's True, the 8-minute extended version. I would play it so I could go to the bathroom. Because it was 8 minutes long. And if I put that song on, it was enough time to get to the bathroom, get back, get the next cassette tape in, and cue the next cassette tape up. Oh my God. But it was a great life, but it was very stressful. And I have blogged about this before, but I quit one night because the owner was a bit of a douche. And one night he said to me, we're going to do a wet t-shirt night. And I'm like, we're doing what? And he said, yeah, wet t-shirt night. And I'm like, okay, well, I was under contract, right?
Right.
So they started this wet t-shirt night, and then he's like, play some music, get the crowd going. And I was playing music, and they were, suddenly these girls, they're university girls, right? And there was a prize of I think $100, which back then was quite a lot of money.
in the 80s?
So they start the contest and I'm playing like he's plays, play stripper music. And I'm like, I don't know what stripper music is, but I don't even know. So I'm playing dance music and all of a sudden one of the girls whips her top off.
Oh.
Right. And I'm like, oh, come on. And he's like, no, keep playing music, keep playing music. And then another girl does. And then there's another girl and the crowd's all hyped up. And this poor third girl is taking her and she's crying. And I'm like, can't do it. I shut and bear in mind, I'm like in a nightclub full of people. I shut the music off.
Good for you.
And he came over and he's like, what the hell are you doing? I said, I'm not doing this. This is, the police could come in any minute. We will get arrested. Like, you can't do this. Look, she's crying. And he's like, put that music back on right now. I'm like, I'm not. You want to play music? You get in the booth, you play it your damn self. And I walked out. And that was the end of my illustrious career with Dr. Music, because and he called me up the next day and he's like, I told him what happened. I said, look, we could have been charged. The cops could have come in, seen these girls like half naked and charged us. And he's like, okay, fair enough. But I was like, that was it. I didn't want to work at that club anymore. So I did a couple of other like smaller club gigs after that, but then I was done with it. And then of course, I went to grad school and kind of got married and kind of got over DJing. But yeah, it was the most bizarre thing to see these poor girls and feeling the peer pressure, right?
A third person. And what I'm hearing is that, it was, you justified it by saying, the police could come in, we could get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, like, that decision came from a place of compassion, seeing this person. Oh,
yeah. I mean, that was the initial reaction. Like, I said that to him only because I knew that was the only way to reason with him, was to tell him, like, this is the reason why we should do this. Because I knew if I just said it's wrong, he'd be like, it's not wrong. Look, they're having fun. So I tried to give him a rationale to say, okay, let's close it down. But he wouldn't. And I just said, okay, that's it. You want to keep this up? You play it yourself. I'm done. And I walked out.
That's great.
He was furious. Oh, he was furious. Oh my gosh, he was.
But that's back in the 80s. So.
Back in the 80s, yeah, back in the 80s. But I mean, I'd do it again. I mean, lost the job, but I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to see these girls being exploited. Yeah.
Up for somebody that nobody else was seeing, obviously, because there were
on the crowd. And of course, the crowd. I mean, they were all drunk, and it was late, and
boobs.
Exactly, yeah. And they were like, "Take it off," and this poor one girl was just like,
tears. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. So I was unhappy to begin with, but at that point, I just said, like, no, I'm not doing this. Because when it was just they were wearing T-shirts and they were dancing, that was fine. But when they started to take I just said, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. But anyway, I did like DJing up until that point, and it was a lot of fun. I DJ in a club that had this super bouncy floor, and I had turntables that were the stable, and they were really old turntables, and the stabilizers were pretty crappy. So every time the crowd would get all hyped up, the floor was bounce, and the records would start to skip. So I'd be like in the microphone, "Stop bouncing! You're making the records skip."
Did they
tell my bunch of No. Yeah, I know. I'm like, hey, stop bouncing. Yeah.
So
it was fun still.
When was the last time you were in a dance club? Because I know for me, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. I mean, gosh, probably, to be honest, probably the last time my husband and I went on a cruise. About 3 years ago, and we went to the nightclub on the cruise ship, and that was probably the first time I've been in a dance club for about 10 years. I mean, you just don't anymore, right? But yeah, that was fun.
Well,
yeah, they had a silent. Have you ever been to a silent disco?
I haven't, but I thought about doing something on this little podcast. I was like, I've been thinking about incorporating music, and so I was like, how could we make this fun? It's like,
oh my gosh, if you've never had a chance, though, if you get a chance to do a silent disco, because they give you headphones,
right,
with 3 or 4 different channels, and so when you walk in, it's completely silent, but the whole place is filled with people just dancing, going crazy, right?
Music,
because they're all Yeah, they're all listening to their own music. And, so you can tell like the one where we were at, they had different colors for the different channels. So you could see who was listening to whatever, like there was one that was country music, one that was like pop, one that was more like rock. And you could see as the music changed, people would all be dancing the same if they were red or green or blue. It was really fun.
That's really cool.
And at one point, like the channel I was on started playing Jump, crisscross jump. And so like a bunch of people in the club were all going, jump, jump. And everybody else is just doing this. It's like, it was hilarious. But it's incredibly fun though. I would love doing a silent disco. Yeah.
I've kind of gotten to this point, and I think this last year of COVID has helped, of like, I don't care anymore, so there's like this that happens as you, depending on how you were raised and where your life is going, like, what you focus on, right? And so like I still listen to the same music I listened to when I was in college, and but I picked up the violin again, so classical music has entered my life again after so long. But it was so great. I walked in from classical music orchestral practice into my house, and my husband was listening to Tipsy. And I love Tipsy, the band. They aren't together anymore, as far as I know. I was trying to look up information for them. But it's just this weird jazzy electronic, I don't know, are you familiar with Tipsy? And it's like lounge music is what it is, but it's funky, weird lounge music. And I walked in, and he was making dinner, and it's really funny because it's like when we have in the past had dinner parties, it's what we put on because it's nice background music. It doesn't overshadow anything that's happening. Conversations and stuff can still take place, but it's funky enough. It's weird enough that it just, it's not elevator music. It's beyond that, And so I walked in, and it's funny, and we were just kind of bobbing, and I walked up to him, and we started dancing in the kitchen, and I'm like, this is really freeing. Like
we dance in our kitchen all the time.
I'm not worried anymore.
I do.
It's just like I almost got put in this box, and even though COVID has been difficult, it has also helped to break out of that box because I'm in, I feel secure in my home and stuff, and it's like I'm finding things that I just kind of put on pause for a while, like just being willing to dance for no reason whatsoever.
I do that all the time, girl. I don't know what the neighbors think. If our neighbors could see me in my kitchen, like I'm cooking, I'm just like,
that's awesome. Yeah. And I've done it on my own, but it's like, if anybody's looking, I'm kind of like, oh, this, but now, this freedom has come into my life.
Why worry, right? I mean, of all the things to worry about, dancing in your kitchen can't be one of them. They say, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution.
Yep.
That's what I always say. Yeah. But I mean, I love music, music and me. Gosh. But I'm the same way. I listen to a lot of the same things I listened to when I was younger. But I mean, a lot of the bands I listen to now are bands that are still around. Like the Foo Fighters just put out a new album, and it's incredibly good. Wonderful. Yeah. Like Gary Newman, I think I was saying to you before, like in terms of my favorite artists and people that I've actually met. Oh, yeah. Gary Newman, like, was it 2 years ago, put out a new album after quite a while, and toured Canada among, he was doing a world tour and came to Toronto, and I got a VIP ticket to actually meet him, like do a meet and greet with him. And he's like the nicest man, Gary Newman, Cars, right? Yeah. Like that, electro punk. Yeah. And my God, he's the nicest man. We talked and in fact, they said, when you get to Gary, just bear in mind, he will keep talking, but there are a lot of people waiting. So just don't let him, because he's so friendly and he's so kind. Like he'll just talk to you. And then they put on the show, and it was, he's incredible. Yeah. Like, my gosh, but to meet him was so wonderful. He was such a great and kind person. And then to see him performing, and now he's just put another album out. So, I mean, I feel very blessed to have met him.
That's great. So when was this
Yeah.
you met him?
This was 2018.
Oh yeah. So
What is it now? 2021. It was like fall. It was like around my birthday in like late 2018. And then in 2019, fall of 2019, we met, my husband and I saw, there's a Canadian band we love called Big Wreck. And we went to see them as well and met them. But yeah, I love doing the meet and greets, right? But I mean, Gary Newman, I've loved him since I was a teenager and Cars first came out, and, Friends Are Electric and all that stuff. And then to meet him in person and talk to him. And then we were talking because I brought him, he has 3 daughters. And they're all, I think they range in age from about 11 to 16 or something. So I took him a copy of my first book, and he said to me, he said, I can't believe this. He said, I've always wanted to be a writer. I think it's so cool that people can write books. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, you are a writer. You're an incredible writer.
Exactly.
Your song lyrics are like the best poetry I've ever read. And he was like, but you wrote a book. I'm like, dude, you wrote like how many albums? Like, his lyrics are incredible. He's so talented. And he was like complimenting me for writing a book. He's so nice.
Oh my gosh. That is
such a nice man.
Cloud9 right there.
It was fantastic. And then to see the concert, and he's just such an incredible performer. He's older than I am. Like I said, I'm 56, and he's like, I don't know how much older than I am he is, but he came out and he was like 2 hours on stage. He just powerhouse. Like, wow, he's amazing.
Well, the last concert I saw before COVID was Les Claypool and Sean Lennon. The Claypool Lennon.
Yeah.
Oh, my brain. The Claypool Lennon dilemma. Oh gosh.
I know what you mean though. Yeah.
Yeah. So John Lennon's son, and Les Claypool, the bassist and face of Primus.
Yeah.
And so that was in Eugene, Oregon. Oh my God, that experience. And the opening band was amazing too. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I'm definitely gonna write it in on the subtitle because that band was freaking amazing too. And we I made my son and husband, I was like, we've got to get in line. So we ended up standing in line for like an hour and a half, and it was completely unnecessary in Eugene, Oregon. Like we had our tickets. It was an open floor. We didn't.
Yeah, but you do what you got to do to get the prime spot, right? You got to get the prime spot. Yeah.
I was convinced that I saw, the limousines and stuff pulling, it wasn't actual limousines, but the tour bus and stuff pulling up, and I was like, if we stand here, you're gonna see them.
You're gonna see them.
We never did. They were like, we could have been sitting in the car all this time. And,
like I always say, but what if?
Yes, what if?
Yeah.
And it was a super cool day because a storm was coming in and the lightning was flashing through the sky, and we're standing out there, and it hadn't started raining, but you could feel the electricity in the air. And personally, like, I've led a very sheltered life, so I actually didn't go to my first concerts until the last decade. And so
wow, yeah. My first concert, I'm trying to think who my first concert was. But I mean, I remember being about 17. I saw Suzanne and the Banshees twice. So good, incredible.
Oh my God.
Depeche Mode, The Cure.
Oh my.
I've seen a bunch of those.
My language.
Oh yeah, all those bands, so good, so good. I think the only thing left on my bucket list right now is I'd really like to, aside from the Foo Fighters, so I've never had a chance to see in concert. Once we go back to touring, I'm determined to see them. But the other thing on my bucket list is Maynard James Keenan.
Oh yeah, I got to see I did. I did see him, and pardon me, but my brain, it's like I'm mixing up years, so I'm not sure if it were Les Claypool and Sean Lennon, or if it were Perfect Circle. That was my last concert that I saw before.
Yes, I really want to see him doing like his Pussifer stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. Like I would love to see him in concert doing that because like I had like part of my bucket list with Gary Newman, and then like I said, I've seen some good Canadian bands like the Tragically Hip we saw before Gord Downey passed away. And they're very Canadian. You've probably never heard of the Tragically Hip, but they're like a Canadian
I will
icon,
look them up, though.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's an incredible band, and their lead singer died fairly, really tragically of a brain tumor about, was it 4 years ago now? Yeah. So, but we did see them in concert before he passed away. Fairly young too. But yeah. So I've met most of my bucket list challenges. It's just I really do want to see Maynard James Keenan and the Foo Fighters, and then I'm good. We saw Heart. I'd always wanted to see Heart because like I remember when I was in the 70s. Seeing their, those videos of their live concert footage, from like Magic Man and Barracuda, and always wanting to see Heart in concert. And they came like locally, oh gosh, it was maybe 10 years ago. And we went to see them, and it was incredible. They opened up, and I stood, and we had like second row seats, and I stood there, and I was like, I had tears streaming down my face. I was so overcome by seeing them in concert, and they were just as good as they have always been. Like, boy, Ann Wilson's voice is just incredible, and Nancy on guitar, and the whole thing was just like an incredibly phenomenal experience. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
So when I saw Perfect Circle, unfortunately, Maynard had a cold.
Oh,
so, yeah. So
yeah,
but it was a surreal experience because he wasn't.
Well, it would be with him. He's a very surreal person, I think.
And and what's really cool is when they do tour, a lot of times they'll reproduce what they've done in videos and stuff. And so he was in that suit, but it's a woman's suit. And he was in the shadows, and so you could see his weird little hairs sticking out, and he had these weights, the shake weights.
Yeah.
I've never used them, but they're really funny. Yeah. And so like he had just enough energy to it was an incredible concert. I mean, like he put his all. He was like, I'm not feeling well, but like his voice is amazing, the music was amazing. And he introduced us to these shake weights. But he's all in shadow, right? So he's the silhouette against this background, and he's shaking these weights. And so
he's incredible. I love everything that he does. He's really incredible performer.
He's a winemaker too.
Yeah, I know. I've never been able to get any of his wine, but I'd like to try it one day.
I want to definitely.
I do love the wine.
Yeah. Yes, I will skull to that.
Absolutely. Well, my dear.
So, with that, let's tell us your book is coming out, the short story anthology, Feasting Upon the Bones.
Yep, it's coming out in July. And it's not available for pre-order yet, but I do have my new novel behind me, The Seventh Devil. You can see The Seventh Devil. It's a supernatural thriller, and it's available right now for pre-order on Amazon. So yeah, I'm very happy about both of them. Like I said, I didn't think I'd have two books coming out this year, but it just happened to go that way, and I'm thrilled to bits. So
they're coming out back to back, June, July. Both
kind of May, July. Yeah. So
July? Okay.
Yeah. So give me a little chance in between to do some promotions for both of them. But it's different markets too, right? American publisher for one, Canadian publisher for the other, and they're both going to be doing different kinds of promotions, and that's fine. And it's the summertime, so I'll have a little bit more time. I work all summer. I can take my vacation whenever. So I'm hoping to be able to, depending on what things are like around here, maybe get out and do some signings or do a launch. Last time, I live in this very, very small town. We have about 600 people.
Oh, good.
We have a pub. We have like this little adorable little pub. It's called the Drumbo Pub. And so when my last book came out, The Dome, I did my launch at the Drumbo Pub, and people came from all over the place to this little pub in the middle of nowhere for my launch. And I'm really hoping, because in the new book, in The Seventh Devil, I specifically mentioned the Drumbo Pub. because it takes place, it takes place in Canada, mostly in Ontario and kind of across Canada. But, this part of Ontario is what I'm most familiar with. So I mentioned it in the book. So I thought it'd be so cool if I could do the launch again at the Jumbo Pub, which is mentioned in the book. So we'll see what happens.
That's
But
so cool.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
600 people. Yeah. I'm in an area and around 10,000. So Astoria.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, we're in a really small little town. It's yeah. But it's nice. It's quiet. It's a beautiful place to live. It's really quiet, and we have really good, neighbors. Like I said, 500 or 600 people, and we're all condensed into a small area. So it's like living in a regular town. We've got 2 gas stations, a pharmacy, two hairdressers actually, a pizza place, the pub, another restaurant. Like you got everything.
You can't go wrong.
Everything you could ask for. Like we're not lacking for anything here. We've got really beautiful parks. You can go around for a nice walk. And we're close to the cities, which is why we kind of settled out here, because we both worked in larger cities close by, and so we can commute back and forth. Right now, of course, I've been working from home. My commute was before we started working from home, my commute was an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back to Toronto, because I was working in Toronto from here. So I was taking the train in every day. So now it's like I'm saving 3 hours a day. It's fantastic.
Oh, great. What do you do with those 3 hours?
Right.
You're right.
Right. Think. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So good to talk to you, though. This has been great.
Good to talk to you too. So,
yes.
So you have a website?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. It's if you Google My Dang Blog, you'll find me there.
My Dang Blog, DANG.
Yeah. DANG, My Dang Blog. Yeah, that's me.
I love it.
My friends know me. My friends know me as MDG, I guess. My Dang Blog, NDG. Can't even think right now. Thanks. It's the wine, man.
Yes, it's the wine. It's tipple.
It's the tipples. The tipples. Yeah.
That's where the word D comes from.
MDB. There you go. That's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, but it's My Dang Blog, or the website is www.educationalmentorship.com, because I started it years ago when I was mentoring as part of a mentorship program. I was mentoring another teacher. And so I started the blog. And then when I stopped mentoring her, I was like, I have a blog. I might as well use it, but you can't change the URL. So the name of the blog changed, but the URL stayed the same. So I think sometimes people go, well, I don't want to read this. It's about educational mentorship. It's actually not. It's like mostly like about can I swear on here?
Oh, absolutely. This is my first show, so I don't know a whole lot about YouTube. But
I don't know. I think you can swear on YouTube. I mean, it's just like I write about all the fucking weird things that happen to me over in the course of a week, right? So
F-bomb.
F-bomb. You can bleep me up if you need to. But yeah, I mean, I do swear like a sailor. I've been very good tonight, but I do swear like a sailor.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Same here. But I know how to behave.
Me too. I'm very good, because of course I was a high school teacher for almost 25 years. So I know very much how to rein it in and not swear at people. Yes.
Well, I'm a yoga teacher.
Namaste. Namaste.
So yeah, I know about needing to keep the profanity down.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, downward dog, you jerk.
I have been known to say shit, damn, and hell, but that's about as in class. But that's outside of class, I can get worse. But
yeah, I think I swore once in the entire time I was teaching. I swore in front of my class once, and it was because I was standing in front of the class and I was teaching a lesson, and all of a sudden, and I had the overhead screen behind me down, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, it whipped up and it slammed into the holder, and it flew off.
Oh my God.
And I turned around and went, "Holy shit!" The whole class was like, "That's awesome." You swore. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the only time I ever swore in front of my students, and because I was just like, it scared the crap out of me. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I don't want it to.
This is,
but I feel like I need some H2O.
Yeah, my gosh, I know. I think I need to drink more.
drink more. Yes. So
It's Friday night, girl. Come on.
yes. Oh, it's.
But this has been wonderful. I've really
my
enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Like, it's been terrific talking to you. And
Good to talk to you. I look forward to future conversations.
absolutely.
Suzanne.
Next time we'll do Scotch, right? You promised me that we could do Scotch next time.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna do Scotch next time.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I have a favorite Scotch that
I do too.
John here and there.
I do too.
Yes. So no cheap stuff. It's like if I'm gonna drink, it's gonna be good stuff.
No.
And if I don't have the money to spend on it, I just don't drink it.
I know. But I mean, there are certain sacrifices you have to make. So you have to get the good stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Suzanne CRAIG-WHYTOCK with Whittock. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
You can pronounce, like, I've heard it so many ways. You can pronounce it basically any way you want, and I will answer to it, because Craig is my maiden name and Whittock is my husband's name.
Okay.
And it's Scottish, right?
Okay.
And if you go to Scotland, people will be like, Ms. Whittock. They know right away how to pronounce it. Here, everybody's like, Whittock? Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? It's a really strange looking name for the way that it's pronounced, but
well, I want to say, I
yeah.
do want to say Whittock because I'm a Matulich, right? And so
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Matulich is Croatian.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you, I named a character in the sequel to The Seventh Devil after you.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Miss Matulich in the Seventh Devil now.
Oh my God. I have butterflies and my heart is pounding.
Yeah, you're a principal of a school.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So I'm a Matulich-Hall, and Matulich is Croatian, which used to be Yugoslavia way back when. Not way back when, quite recently. But I've heard Matulich and
I'm sure you've heard the whole range, right?
Yeah. What I say. And so Whittock is what I want to say, but then I'm like, Whittock,
that's right.
start getting awkward with it.
So you instinctively knew how to pronounce it properly.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we've got Suzanne with her fantastic novel, The Seventh Devil, coming out. And short story anthology, Feasting Upon the Bones. I'm so excited about these two books.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm Jude Matulich-Hall, and my debut novel, The Eversteam Chronicles Small Demons, is coming out October of this year.
Exciting. Can't wait.
And shortly after, I'll have a short story anthology coming out based in the Eversteam universe.
Perfect.
That's what we have going on right now.
Awesome. It was so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, evening.
You too. Yes, I know. It's it's gotten dark here now, but
it's dark there, it's light here.
I know, different time zones, but that's great. Well, you have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and thank you so much. I really appreciated this.
So much. Yeah, me too. All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Bye.
And
if we'd printed it the way it was originally written, it would have been 1,200 pages.
oh wow!
Because it's Azoth Chem is not run by idiots, so they're like, no, an unknown author is not releasing a 1,200-page magnum opus.
Right. Yeah.
That starts with the death of every man, woman, and child on the planet. That's your happy thought in this book.
Happy place, happy place, happy place.
So they split that into a trilogy.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work.